Blair. That's T-O. Sorry. All right. Good morning. Now you can hear me better, right? My name is Tom Blair. That's T-O-M-B-L-A-I-R. I am Missouri Department of Transportation District Engineer, responsible for everything in St. Louis region for MoDOT. With me today, I have our area engineers. They have individual responsibility within each of the counties across the St. Louis region. And today they're with me because they're experts on all the projects I'm going to talk about. So if you have lots of detailed questions, they're here to answer those questions. 2025 National Work Zone Awareness Week doesn't actually happen until April. We're here today because the weather is great and we have lots of work that is taking place across the St. Louis region or going to start very quickly. And so we need to sort of get that major construction news out there now. We can't wait for National Work Zone Awareness Week, although we'll be back and talk about it then also. In 2025, MoDOT is anticipated to have roughly $1.2 billion worth of projects. That's $1.2 billion worth of projects in the St. Louis region alone. That includes a historic $600 million improvement to I-70 in St. Charles and Warren County. That's nearly 100 MoDOT projects across the St. Louis region that will either continue construction or begin construction in 2025. 90% of those projects are taking care of the existing transportation corridors. That's work like rehabilitating bridges, rebuilding sidewalks, rebuilding traffic signals, resurfacing roadways, and other construction to ensure roadways remain safe for all users for the foreseeable future. A lot of MoDOT's construction projects that I want to highlight today, so everybody knows, actually already began construction last year or the year before. So we have lots of ongoing construction projects that still have major impacts on our region as we travel around the region. First, if I start up in North St. Louis County on Interstate 270, in partnership with the Illinois Department of Transportation, MoDOT is replacing the bridges, the chain of rocks bridges over the Mississippi River. And as part of that project, we are constructing a new diamond interchange at the interchange of Interstate 270 and Riverview. In fact, this interchange and these projects are a required combination. The eastbound Riverview ramps have been reconstructed, and construction is going on with the westbound ramps. This past weekend, the complete removal of the I-270 bridges over Riverview was completed. This project is expected to be complete by the end of 2026. If I go farther south on 270, and you all have a map if you want to follow along with that, if I go further south on 270, I'd end up at 270 and 64. We like to call it the 270 in Conway, 270 in Ladue project. But for the region, it's easy to just think of it, that project on 270 right at 64. Because it's been going on for a little over a year now. And our contractor is continuing to replace the 270 bridges over Conway. Again, right at 270 and 64. We're doing this one lane at a time. This project takes a while. This is the most heavily traveled section of interstate in the state of Missouri, so it's a really big deal. We are continuing our efforts to mitigate the traffic impacts of the reconstruction of the bridge, 270 bridges over Conway at 64. We expect this project to not have any significant changes. I mean, there'll be changes in the traffic impacts in 2025, but they'll be very similar to what you've already seen throughout the last year. This project is expected to be complete by the end of this calendar year. Also in St. Louis County, nearby 270 and 64, we are entering our second and final year of improvements to the Lindbergh corridor, specifically between Swan and Page Avenue. As part of those essential improvements, MoDOT has a 2-month or a 60-day consecutive day closure of Lindbergh just north of 64. We expect this to start just after Memorial Day. Again, Lindbergh Boulevard will be closed just north of I-64. We'll get more information out as we get the exact date figured out for 2 months. That will allow our contractor to fully replace the Lindbergh Bridge over Deer Creek. Most of us driving the corridor probably don't know where that is. Just know it just just north of I-64. We expect that closure to start after Memorial Day. Currently, if you're out there, our utility partners are active, relocating the gas line in preparation of this work. We expect this entire project, including the bridge rehabilitation, everything to be done by the end of this calendar year. All right, if I move into South County and South City area along the I-55 corridor. We've been working on this corridor for a couple of years now. People probably already noticed that. The I-55 bridge renovation project contractor is working to finish the rehab of the northbound bridge over the Union Pacific near River des Peres. And they hope to be able to switch traffic on the southbound, switch to work onto the southbound bridge in the near future, hopefully in April. At this time on I-55 South City, South County project, all southbound lanes south of River des Peres into St. Louis County are all open. We are working to open the northbound lanes in the coming weeks, and paving along the corridor from up by the St. Louis Arch all the way down to 255 has begun and will continue into 2026. So I-55 corridor in South City and South County continues work, and there will continue to be impacts throughout this calendar year. Construction continues. If I go further south about 30 miles on I-55, we're entering our second full construction season of the improvements to I-55 and the widening of I-55 in Jefferson County. We just moved traffic recently onto the new pavements, and we closed the ramp from southbound 67 to I-55. That will remain closed for approximately 6 months. This project is a really big deal in Jefferson County and everybody going south of here. There are many major bridge rehabilitation replacement projects. So this is a 3-year-long project. We're beginning our second full year of construction. We expect this project to be complete at the end of 2026. So please be cautious as you drive through that work zone on I-55. We also have many new and upcoming projects. If I look on the map and I think about it, I would like to highlight the ones in St. Charles County. The new projects that aren't active right now today that are going to cause traffic issues as we do those in 2025 are largely in St. Charles County. So I mentioned earlier about the Improve I-70 project. The Missouri legislature in fiscal 24 budget, in the General Assembly and the governor provided $2.8 billion to plan, design, construct, reconstruct, rehabilitate, and repair 3 lanes in each direction of I-70 from Kansas City to St. Louis. That includes work in St. Charles County, which is part of our region. The specific project from Warrenton to Wentzville, the Improve I-70 project was awarded at the end of last calendar year. It was awarded for around $600 million, making it the largest project by dollar amounts in MoDOT's history. That project not only includes that general revenue that the governor and the legislature gave us for Improve I-70, includes significant dollars in our traditional transportation funding. That additional money will allow us to not only improve I-70, but make improvements to I-64 and 70 interchange also. So as a result of that, we expect construction to begin in the coming weeks on I-64 from Highway K up to 70, where that section of interstate from 64 up to 70 will also be added an additional lane in each direction. So again, we expect it to start there. I do believe a groundbreaking will be scheduled within the next month to kick off the Improve I-70 project in St. Charles and Warren County. During the addition of the lane on I-64, which should start soon, we will maintain 3 traffic directions. We will maintain traffic in all the lanes during peak hours. Initially, we're going to basically narrow up the lanes and put a concrete barrier to widen the road in the center of the road. So please be cautious as you drive through that area. The overall Improve I-70 project in St. Charles and Warren County is expected to be complete by the end of 2028. Further on to that corridor as a new project that has not really begun construction yet at the Missouri River crossing that connects St. Louis County to St. Charles County on I-64, the Daniel Boone Bridge, the westbound bridge in particular, is going to have a rehabilitation. There are some signs out there, so some of our motorists have already noticed that. Again, westbound Daniel Boone Bridge, we expect construction to start very soon to rehabilitate the westbound, the older of the two bridges. We will close one lane in each direction, and we will shift two traffic lanes onto the eastbound bridge. We'll ensure that we have 3 lanes in each direction during peak hours. But again, the impact is going to be that we're going to have 1 lane less in each of the bridges throughout 2025. During a portion of bridge painting, the Katy Trail will also be closed. So I think that's worthy of noting because I know that's a very, very popular trail for many of us throughout the region. We don't have exact dates on the closure of the trail yet. These improvements on Daniel Boone Bridge are anticipated to be complete a year from now. You can see a list of all of our projects on the map that we shared, all the ones I mentioned to you. Those are the major projects that have the major traffic impacts throughout the St. Louis region. In addition to that, though, we are continuing work and starting work on many of our non-interstate routes that have significant impacts at the local level in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jefferson, and Franklin County. Many of these projects are resurfacing those arterial state-owned roadways, but they're also upgrading pedestrian accommodations to meet the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. So that's our sidewalk improvements in taking care of those sidewalks that we're doing as part of those projects throughout the region. There's so many of them, I couldn't go through all of them with you today. You can check out all the projects that we have currently underway by going to MoDOT.org. You can go to MoDOT.org, you can go to St. Louis, you got to click on our portion of it, and you got to get into the construction projects portion of our webpage. You can get all this information I've shared today and so much more. I also encourage everyone to always use the MoDOT's travel information map. You can get the app on your phone or you can go to the website. That allows you to figure out where the traffic congestion is, including work zones. That allows you not only for snow and weather events, but also all of our planned work zones are available at the travel information map. You can also rate us. So you can go to MoDOT.org and there's a work zone report card where everyone out there can actually give us feedback on how we're doing with our work zones to let crews have that information. And finally, I'd say to get a hold of MoDOT, you can always call us. We are a state agency that has a 1-800 number or 188 number, and it's always open. So 188-ASK-MoDOT. You can get transportation information. You can report information to us that we need to address. Again, 188-ASK-MoDOT. Now, we'll talk more next month, as next month is National Work Zone Awareness Week, and we'll be asking everyone to watch out for us in work zones, remind everybody of these work zones again. But I do want to remind you why I have your attention today to pay attention. When you're out there driving, please pay attention to speed limits, especially when you're going through work zones. We put great effort into trying to keep everyone safe, and those reduced work zone speed limits are absolutely necessary for everyone, including the workers and the drivers, to stay safe. Also, we ask you to wear your seatbelt. And when you're driving, please put down your phone and pay attention. Buckle up, phone down. Thank you for your attention today. We'll take any questions.
Talk a little bit about some of the big projects you have going. Just because of what's been going on in Washington, are those all fully funded right now?
All the projects I mentioned today are fully funded right now, and I believe all the ones I mentioned today have all been awarded to contractors.
And so is the, I'm not going to say chaos, but what's going on, concerns coming from Washington, does that affect your future planning? We've been sitting in meetings. Has that come up in Montreal?
Well, right now, the MoDOT-St. Louis team and our contractors are focused on controlling what we control, and we have awarded contracts, and we have a lot of work to get done in 2025, and it is going to have impacts on motoring public, so that's what we're really here to do, and that's what our taxpayers and everybody expect the MoDOT-St. Louis team and our contracted industry to get done for them.
A little bit about the Lindbergh Center, I may have missed it. Is that both directions of Lindbergh?
Yes, that would be both directions of Lindbergh, right, Ryan? Yes, both directions of Lindbergh, just north of 64 at Deer Creek. If you really want to know the specifics, Ryan has all the details.
How impactful were the hearings before each of these projects were concluded and awarded? I know you guys met with the public pretty much ahead of every meeting.
Yeah, you're asking how impactful were the public hearings and the public input to all these projects? Well, it's pretty impactful. these men and women behind me and others had many public meetings about all the different projects that we just talked about and so many more. I mean, last week alone, MoDOT had 3 public meetings on 3 different projects that were attended by, in person by many people, but also all that information is available online, and we're still getting comments online about those projects. That public input definitely influences the timing and the scope of work of the projects that we do all across the St. Louis region.
I can't remember if you said it, but 55 in the city and county. It says here through 2025, late 2025. Is there any chance that finishes this year, or should we expect late this year, maybe early next year?
The project on I-55 in South City and South County, it's actually multiple projects. So to keep it simple, I would say the resurfacing is expected to continue, unless something goes really well. The resurfacing is expected to continue into 2026.
And is that more of the project? Because originally it was a 3-year project that started in April, and then very early it got pushed back because of the railroad incident.
Yes.
So are we talking all of that is through 2026, or there'll be various openings and shutting down?
There'll be various openings and shutting downs on almost every project I mentioned today. So I'm going to need everybody's patient attention, and if you can get that to the motorists out there, we'd really appreciate your help. But yeah, the I-55 project has had a bump in the road. We have seen significant delay and significant additional costs to our contractor, who damaged bridge girders when demolishing, removing the bridge deck. They have purchased the girders. They've installed the new girders. We're almost, as I said earlier, we're almost to open up that new bridge in the coming month or so, and then they'll be able to get back onto the southbound bridge and everything. So,
is the closure on 55 this weekend related to that?
They're pouring the deck for that.
Oh yes. So this weekend, my team tells me this weekend they are pouring the bridge deck on that bridge, which is the northbound I-55 bridge over the Union Pacific, just north of River de Pere, the one that had the damaged girders approximately a year ago. Any other questions, or you want any of them come up to answer anything? All right, hearing none, we'll be around if you want to do any one-on-one interviews while we're here. Thank you guys for all coming.